Hi, my name is Robert Rankin. I'm the owner and proprietor of Snowbird Mountain Lodge in Robbinsville, North Carolina. Snowbird Mountain Lodge was constructed in 1938 here on top of a mountain in very rural western North Carolina. The lodge is the last major building built in the United States using native chestnut as its primary building material. It has 23 guest rooms and almost 1,000 acres of private mountaintop getaway, with great scenic roads and drives available all throughout our area. The lodge features a full-service restaurant and a full-service bar with an extensive wine and spirits list. And it's a great place to have been based for this tour, for the drives throughout the mountain. Constructed in 1940, and opened in early 1941, right prior to World War II, by two brothers out of Chicago, Illinois, Arthur and Edwin Wolf, who were in the travel business. They ran motor coach tours throughout southwestern North Carolina during the 30s and 40s. The lodge changed hands in 1953 to Gladys and Elmer Smith, who owned it till 1968. Then the lodge fell on some hard times and continued to operate on and off until I bought it in 1995. Since 1995, the lodge has undergone a full restoration to bring it back to its former glory. Now on the National Register of Historic Trusts and National Register of Historic Places.
My name's Dave Redmond. I've had SFM 6S 1342 for the last 33 years. Used to drag race it, autocross it. Previous owner did that with it. I just like the car. It's fun to drive.
So why did 33 years ago did you buy this particular car? You could have bought a Corvette. You could have bought anything.
Well, actually I got a ride in one when I was 15 years old in 1977. And I decided I was going to get one at that point, and I had an opportunity to buy it on a payment plan, and it was through my uncle. He traded the Camaro stock car for the Shelby on the premise that I would buy the Shelby for what he wanted for the Camaro. So it was kind of a three-way deal. You know, Frank Likert got Eddie's Camaro, Eddie got my money, and I got the Shelby. So,
I think you were the winner.
I think I won.
Yeah.
So one of those things. And if Eddie sees this, he'll have it.
I'm Chuck Cantwell. I was project engineer on the GT350s back in the original days. And I got this car from a friend of mine who had it stashed away for about 35 years and in New Hampshire. And I bought the car and had it worked on it at Cobra Automotive, and I went up there and worked on it a bunch of times myself, and we got it straightened out in about 6 or 8 months. And so I had it, that was about 5 years ago, and I run a number of tours and car shows and various things like that with the car. So I enjoy driving it.
Now, 50 years beyond when it was new, what's your impression of driving it today?
Well, it's hardly a modern car, and they're 50 years old. If we go back to when this car was built and go back 50 years before that, the cars were a lot worse than this one is 50 years later. So it's a good fun car, and it's got all the characteristics of the car that it had when it was original, with the no spin and so forth, and a little bit stiff and a little bit rough, and it was the way it was, acts the way it was designed to be, and enjoyed by people that like that kind of car.
We bought this 65 Shelby in 2012, and this car, when I bought it, had a bunch of dirty paint. The engine, everything was really just dirty. I mean, it ran, but had a lot of nicks and scratches, and my wife was very upset with me because...
No, whoa, 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 whoa.
Hurry.
Actually, he wanted a 66 carryover car and I wanted a 65 Shelby. My idea was the blue stripe across the top, and when we saw this, it was leaking gas out the bejesus, yeah, the carburetor. And so I thought, oh my gosh, we're paying this much money for this car, but I really think it's a great car. I just like to give him a hard time about it.
Yeah, and the car actually, the paint didn't look this good when we bought it. We had it all rubbed out and touched up all the chips, but it was all original. The engine's the correct serial number to the car. I got the transmission and all the rare parts. The only thing I was missing was the carburetor, and I bought one of those right away.
And tell him how you're glad that I talked you into 65 instead of that 66 carryover
yeah,
Concourse
and so
car.
actually when we started talking about the money, I was going to buy a Concourse 66 carryover car. This one was a rougher 65, but it was an original nice car with all the parts and all the bodies. So we decided to buy this, and you know what? I've had it for 3 years, and all I did was take it apart and we just cleaned it from top to bottom, put all new brake lines and brakes and gas and a fuel tank in it, and put the carburetor on it, and that's basically it. And it's been running really good on this tour, so I'm really happy to have it, and to have it as a survival, not a restored car.
This is our 1966 GT350H. When I was a teenager, I made a list of cars that I wanted to own, and on that was a Shelby Mustang, particularly a Hertz car. I was in love with the black and gold color. About 7 or 8 years ago, I came across one and had an opportunity to buy it, and it was in pretty good condition when we bought it. We did some repainting on it, a little mechanical work, but it was a pretty clean car when we bought it. So it's been a lot of fun, and I checked another one off my list. I still got some cars to try to find, but this one's off my list now.
All right, I'm Brant Halterman from Broadway, Virginia. I'm Virginia Classic Mustang, and
I'm Laura Hall, and I'm his other half.
And this is a 66, number 1732. Bought this in Missouri a couple years ago, and it's my driver. So it was okay that it got wet today. A couple other cars that I have are kind of clean underneath, so I would have been a little stressed about today's drive, but that's what this one's for, and we enjoyed it today. So we're looking forward to the next couple days. It's going to be a good tour. We would have liked to have sunshine, but you know, it's going to be fine. So yeah, it's going to be a good time. A lot of nice people, and it's going to be fun.
I'm Earl Morris. This is my wife Molly. The car is 6S2301. I bought this car when I was 19 years old, and that was in February of 1982. So I've owned it for 33 years. Had a lot of fun with it over the years. I actually drove it across the country and back one time when I got out of college. Really enjoying this tour. First time really done something like this, especially with Molly. The scenery today was fantastic. Wish it was sunshine, but wasn't the end of the world today. I don't think this car has really been wet in about 20 years.
Now, why did you buy it back then? What was the motivation, or why?
I grew up in a car family, and we always liked Fords. My dad bought a 65 convertible Mustang in 1970. And I drove that a lot growing up. I ended up with a 65 fastback I drove in high school, and had Wallace Wiss's Shelby Wildlife book as a kid. So I was Cobra and Shelby crazy, and I knew I wanted a Shelby, so I kind of worked hard so I could buy one. That was a goal. Ended up with this car and have kept it. Have owned some others over the years too, but always kept this car. This particular car is actually an original paint car.
Really?
And it's got plenty of nicks and dings in it if you get up close, but with that in mind, it doesn't hurt to drive it on a road tour like this, or in this type of weather for that means either. Another chip or two is not going to hurt it. A little dirt isn't going to hurt it. So it's a great car for driving and just doing things like this.
It's okay, you're not the first. I can agree with you there. I will give you that. I do love Will Ferrell though. He's funny. He's very funny. Yeah, exactly. He just keeps him better. And he just started getting extra. It's been a while, so I hope so.
It's kind of like, woo, what's in on you?
Yeah?
And bless your heart, you wear that every day.
No, it's Halloween week, so I dress that every year, the whole week of Halloween.
You look really cute.
I love Jessica Rabbit.
Stephen Cole Smith. Work here for our automobile magazine. My name's actually Steve Smith, but there used to be a car and driver editor named Steve Smith, and I worked for a Fort Worth paper that had 4 Steve Smiths, so I go by Cole. Half my middle name is the byline. I've been doing this since 1984, writing for Car and Driver and some of the other magazines since 1988. Tom Cotter and I go way back. Tom, if people don't really know him, pretty much invented NASCAR public relations, so I know him from that. And we've worked together on stories a couple times. He said he's got this GT350 tour going on, and he knew that I'd driven the GT350 and said, why don't you get a new one and come up there and do a story with us. So I called Ford. They got one of the big reliable vans and sent this GT350 down to me at Florida Sunday, and I drove it up here Sunday night. And here I am. This is a car that I've driven at Laguna Seca and Sebring, mostly on the track. This is a regular car. It's not the Cobra R, but I really didn't want the Cobra R because $10,000 worth of carbon fiber wheels. I was kind of worried about doing any damage on those. And it's the same powertrain, so I got this car with the track pack. I think that's about $7,000. I got it mostly because I wanted the Magna Ride suspension, which is adjustable and can make for a pretty nice highway ride. Coming up, I averaged about 21 miles per gallon. Car did great. Got no complaints about it, and if I had $60,000 to spend, it would definitely be on the list. There's a lot of cars I'd like for $60,000, but I'm not positive this is it, but it would be on the list.
Now tell me about driving a 65 GT350 today.
Boy,
and the comparison.
My first car was well, it was a Volkswagen Beetle, but I got rid of that quick, realizing that wasn't my kind of car. I got a 1970 Mach 1 Mustang, and today we would call it decontented, but I called it back then poor because I didn't have any money. It had a 3-speed on the floor, AM radio, no air conditioning, but I love that car dearly. And the 65 of Lee's kind of gave me that same smile that I had driving along. I love the engine. He's got a cam in it. I like the exhaust note on this GT350. It's got a flat crank, so just this engine and Ferraris are the only ones using the flat crank now, so it's got a unique exhaust sound. But I think I like Lee's better. I grew up not so much, a lot of car riders grew up on Ferraris and Lamborghinis and Triumphs, but I grew up on V8 American muscle, so there's something about these cars that speak to me. And Lee's car spoke loud and clear that a good solid American V8 is pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, coming up here, holy crap.
Oh my God.
That was the squirreliest part.
Actually, I've got oil. I got some Shell Rotella T 1540.
Oh yeah,
it's got the zinc
that's what
in it.
Dennis Green runs.
Oh, right.
So I've been green that we were sitting at that restaurant. We did 15 minutes. Everybody's on my lunch. And I told the photographer, they're going to be coming off the road. Four cars in this way, 15 cars.
My name is John Callis from Cornelius, North Carolina, and here to sort the car out this trip, and just finished restoration a short while ago, about 12 months ago actually, but this is the first real drive for the car after a complete restoration. And I got the car in 1997, and it was all in boxes, the shell, just a body shell, all the parts and pieces scattered. So it took me about 4 years total, constantly working on it to get the restoration done, the body work, did all the body work, the metal work, everything on the car myself, the paint work. And what I really like about it, what I've learned this weekend, is the way the car handles in the corners. It really sticks good, and that's something I really wanted. And I've enjoyed driving it these last 2 days. You know, I've got a few things to work out and get sorted, and I think it's going to be a real fun car to drive and they're going forward. But I'm having a good time this weekend with it.
I'm Deborah Sanders, and my car is 5S 545. Lucky enough to have had my dad buy it new in 1965 on October 27th. In fact, today is its 50th birthday.
Oh my gosh.
It was our family car when I was growing up. My mom took it to the grocery store. She took me to school in it. We went to the drive-in movies in it. My dad replaced the package shelf with a seat so that they could have their children in the back seat, and I've just had it in my life my entire life, and it's been a wonderful thing.
Well, it didn't look like this at one time, right?
Well, no, it was all shiny. And then it got stolen and stripped of some important parts and set aside for about 37 years, and in 2010 Philip put it back together, and we've been having fun with it ever since.
Tell me about the project, Phil.
Well, it was showed up in boxes, and we took 10 days from start to finish and went from a bare shell with no wiring to a running and driving car,
oh my gosh,
including finding the missing pieces that we needed. And we've been driving it and having fun with it ever since. It's only got about 47,000 miles on it.
Awesome.
And it would be a barn find. This is what you, actually, yes.
Yeah,
Yes. I'm not a Okay. Okay, so that's what you want. Okay.
His level.
Ah, that's good. Fine. Okay. All right, everybody, here's what we're going to do. We can get everybody to line up around. Come on, we need to see you. There we go. Stephen, why don't you slide in right here between these guys? in the rain. And,
Bless your heart.
But you don't mind if I eat peanut butter and jelly?
Eat your peanut butter and jelly.
And then we'll take the a long way back to Robbinsville. Tonight we'll have our last dinner, and then we'll go our separate ways.
I didn't realize everybody was from all over the country.
Yeah, that's Salina, Kansas, right there.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Okay, I'm Woody Woodruff once again, driving the same old 67 GT350. Just about ready to turn 170,000 miles. And as most of us know, I bought this in the summer of '67, previously to joining the United States Army. I've got these stickers all over my car. I've been on 10 Cobra tours put on by Tom Cotter, and I've been on every single one of them. And this is the first Shelby tour with GT350s because it's the 50th year since Carroll Shelby first brought out the GT350. And I bought this car in the summer of '67 because I was about ready to go in the Army. And I was driving a Volkswagen, and I said, I'm looking at Shelby's, now's the time, if ever's the time. So I scrounged every penny I had, bought this car, and I've driven it from coast to coast. I've been in 41 states, Canada, Nova Scotia, Los Angeles, El Paso, etc., etc. And it's one of a few cars that's actually painted charcoal gray, which is a Lincoln color. This is not a Mustang color. People said that this is not a Mustang color, and I said, I know. So another rarity of this car is it's one of approximately 20 or 25 supercharged cars from the Shelby factory. What that means is they put a Paxton supercharger on it, and it adds approximately 46 more horsepower. So I've just purchased a new one for this car, and by the next Cobra trip, it will be packing a lot more heat.
Tell me about the wheels.
These wheels are not the original wheels. That's another story. When I bought the car, I was out of money, and people said, Shelby made special mag wheels. This car came with them from the factory, but did not leave the dealership with them because it was a $200 option, and I was out of money. I had 1 year of school left, then joining the Army. I worked in the school cafeteria washing dishes, but I said, all I got is what I got. So he took them off and put hubcaps on the car, which were nice Shelby hubcaps, but they were stolen a couple months later. I've gone through some other 10-spoke Shelby wheels. In a couple of years I bought these. These are what came on 65 racing Shelbys, so they do have some heritage linked to them. And they're fun looking, they go good with a car. And you know, the stripes are an option too. The first 25 years I didn't have those, so instead of buying a new car, I had paint stripes put on. So I felt like I have a new car. And the car just gets a lot of attention. You know, it looks like the Eleanor car from the movie, but it's better. And so I enjoy it more now than I did when I bought it new. And hope to put another 170,000 on it.
What's happening?
Hey Colin, you're an okay rider, I'll give you that. But man, you're a hell of a car restorer because Roger says this car, the way it drives and runs is a lot due to you, and it feels like a brand new car. I've never driven a car this old that feels this new.
Tom, we're just completing this wonderful GT350 tour. How did this happen?
Well, this year, 2015, is the 50th anniversary of the first GT350 that Cotter Shelby built. And there are a couple of celebrations that have happened around the United States, including Pebble Beach, including Monterey. But we wanted to do something on the East Coast here. So we got together a few people, like-minded people, who enjoy driving their GT350s. And so we have several 1965s, several 1966s, and two 1967 GT350s. And you know, we've been doing these Cobra tours for years. We know there's like-minded people that enjoy driving their Cobras. Well, we've found the same people who own GT350s enjoy driving and using their cars as they were designed as well.
Tell me about this car and how it's been compared to driving a Cobra on the same roads you've been on.
Well, this car is a 1966 GT350H. If you look at these stripes here, they're gold. That means the H means it was a Hertz car, it was a Hertz rental car. Most of them came in black, like the car next to me, black with gold stripes. This belongs to Roy Crowninshield. A few were made in white, a few were made in green, a few were made in red, and a few were made in blue. Well, we were on a Cobra tour once, and my friend Sean Lowry had this car, and I just fell in love with the way it looked, and asked if he would consider selling it to me when he decided to part with it. And boy, did I get ripped off on this thing. I thought he was my friend, and
Man, I'm glad I unloaded that one.
But all kidding aside, it's an incredible car, and I think it only says 42,000 miles on the odometer. I think that's probably original. The car is so tight, and all the original panels are original. You know, never been rusted, never been rotted out, no Bondo, no repair damage. It's an automatic, which means it probably was treated a little bit better than a stick shift car, probably not beat on as much, and so it drives just so sweetly. And so I drive like your 65 and I love it, and I drive somebody else's 66 and I love it, but I drive this and I love this too. It just shows how versatile these cars are. They could be race cars and they could be driven around the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Jim and Penny, you've been on all the Cobra tours. What's the difference on driving a GT350?
Main difference is got a roof in the rain.
Which is very nice.
Very nice. Many of the Cobra tours have had rain at least for a few days, and that erector set soft top doesn't really keep the water out. So this was a lot of fun and more pleasant having the hard top. We had the pleasure of driving 6S 1541 over the last 4 days and just really enjoyed it. Handling, it's a little heavier handling in the corners, but a lot of fun. Penny, how'd you like it?
Well, for me, it's always about the friendships. You know, the cars are great, and what they do to bring everybody together from all over the country. You know, we all have a great time. It really doesn't matter what car you drive, but a GT350 and a 289 Cobra are both pretty good, you know?
This is the car that I've had for a while now. It's a 1965 GT350. It's number 547 for those people who are interested in that kind of thing. But what I like the most about this car is that I got the car from the original owner. He's about 84 years old now. The only unfortunate thing about the car is that the original owner decided to paint it about 8 years ago. I wish that it had the original paint on it, but I'll take it the way it is nonetheless. And it was an Arizona car its whole life, except for about 2 months when the guy lived in California. So it's about as good as it gets in terms of original, unmolested Shelbys. And the car, actually, the owner told me it came from High Performance Motors, but pretty much everybody with a Shelby or a Cobra loves to say that their car was delivered through High Performance Motors. This gentleman produced the original bill of sale signed by Carroll Shelby himself. So it's got all the appropriate documentation, and it's just a blast to drive, and we've certainly had a wonderful time on this tour. As you can see, the weather hasn't really cooperated, but that's fine. We still had a blast.
Hi everybody, Sissy and Roger back home in Kansas. I'm having a friend shoot this because I didn't do a selfie on the tour, and thanks to everybody for telling your story. Here's ours. This car is number 549, late 65, sold new in Los Angeles at High Performance Motors to a contemporary artist whose name was Lawrence Poons. The registry shows his residences in Los Angeles and New York. He bought it in August of 1965 and drove it to New York. The registry also shows that in December of 1965, he'd already driven it 9,000 miles. Then, as happens sometimes, this car was stolen in 1966, and then it reemerged in the 70s. That time it had some strange modifications, including underride traction bars on top of the stock override traction bars. Now also, you see the car hasn't been washed yet, and there's a reason for that. This weekend we'll have students here from McPherson College, and I wanted to show them what the car looked like when it was used, when it was new. Another part of the mystery of the car is there's a registration for Mexico on the windshield, and who knows why that was there. But then after it was discovered, it had a very good comprehensive restoration, a few owners, minimal use. The odometer shows about 24,000 miles. Those who have looked at it, who know much more than I, say they think that's accurate. We had a great time on the tour. The fall color was fabulous, and I was very pleased that the windshield wipers worked the whole time. I think they probably ran more on the tour than they had in the previous 50 years. We had so much fun reconnecting with friends that we've had on previous tours and meeting some very nice new people who are true enthusiasts. We thought the lodge was great, loved spending time with everybody. Thanks so much to Tom and Pat, and hope we can do it again sometime soon.
Thank you all so much.
This is a 350.
I did too, but with the 14-inch tires, I think it's sort of about the same as the 3 that is. Much better. Armory, this is very nice. It's really spot good.
I'm gonna love you like nobody's loved you, come rain or come shine. High as a mountain and deep as a river, come rain or come shine. I guess when you met me, it was just one of those things. But don't you ever bet me, 'cause I'm gonna be true if you let me. You're gonna love me like nobody's loved me, come rain or come shine. We'll be happy together, unhappy together. Now won't that be just fine? The days may be cloudy or sunny, we're in or we're out of the money, but I'm with you always, I'm with you rain or shine. Days may be cloudy or sunny, we're in or we're out of the money. I'm with you, baby, I'm with you, rain or shine.
On my way from LA back to Knoxville, I found out those bright lights ain't where I belong. From a phone booth in the rain, I called to tell her I've had a change of dreams, I'm coming home. But tears filled my eyes when I found out she was gone. Smoky Mountain rain keeps on falling, I keep on calling her name. Smoky Mountain rain, I'll keep on searching, I can't go on hurting this way. She face. He said that he was going as far as Gatlinburg. I climbed up in the cab all wet and cold and lonely. I wiped my eyes and told him about her. I've got to find her. Can you make these big wheels burn? Smoky Mountain rain keeps on falling. I keep on calling her name. Smoky Mountain rain, I'll keep on searching. I can't go on hurting this way. She's somewhere in the Smoky Mountain rain. I can't blame her for letting go. A woman needs someone warm to hold. I feel the rain running down my face. I'll find her no matter what it takes. Smoky Mountain rain keeps on falling. Keep on calling her name. Smoky Mountain rain, I'll keep on searching. I can't go on hurting this way. Smoky Mountain rain keeps on falling. Keep on calling.
Rainy day people always seem to know when it's time to call. Rainy day people don't talk, they just listen till they've heard it all. Rainy day lovers don't lie when they tell you they've been down like you. Rainy day people don't mind if you cry on a tear or two. If you get lonely, all you really need is that rainy day love. Rainy day people all know there's no sorrow they can rise above. Rainy day lovers don't love any others, that would not be kind. Rainy day people all know how it hangs on your peace of mind. Rainy day lovers don't lie when they tell you they've been down there too. Rainy day people don't mind if you cry on a tear or two. Rainy day people always seem to know when you're feeling blue. High-stepping strutters who land in the gutter sometimes need one too. Take it or leave it, or try to believe it if you've been down too long. Rainy day lovers don't hide love inside, they just pass it on. Rainy day lovers don't hide love inside, they just pass it on.
smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies drive the dark clouds far away. And won't you please say hello